Hello everybody, it's Maikito. I hope everybody's having a good day and has had a good day so far. Wearing the robe, day was due. I called it in the last video, but as always, I'll go over the picks at the end of the video. When it comes to this video on these picks, I have picks for the Champions League slate. I actually found more than I thought I would like, and you guys know, as always, quality over quantity. But when we have good quality and I find multiple picks, I'm gonna give them all. There's no reason to hide them. I post all my picks here, and as always, if I do have any added plays, which I'm not sure if I will, it will be in the pinned comment here either later tonight, but more than likely tomorrow after lines adjust and team lineups in general are confirmed. So keep an eye out for those if you do want more picks. But other than that, I'll just get straight into the player props. The first player prop that I found that I like, this one is currently on Underdog, and that's Nick Pope to go over 2.5 saves, playing at home for Newcastle, going up against Crystal Palace. He himself, as a keeper, has averaged 70.5% shots saved from the shots on target he has saved so far in the league, and averages 3.19 per 90. So he's a pretty good keeper, saves a good percentage, and he averages over the save percentages that he needs in general. And he's going up against Palace, who allow the 6th most saves to opponents, who on average allow 3.5 saves to opponents, opposing keepers. And the reason for that is, one, they're not a clinical team. They only convert 27% of the shots on target that they've taken. On average, teams should convert around 33 to 35. So they're not a clinical team. And the amount of shots on target that they take do not change when they go from home to away. At home, they average 4.9 shots on target taken, while away from home, they average 4.7 away. And they also take a lot of long shots as well, which are easy saves for the most part for opposing keepers. And Newcastle as a team tend to allow long shots, and they actually allow 12.2 shots away from home to opponents, up to 13.3 at home, which is not a big difference, but still show that they allow shots to opponents, even just if it's a little more at home. But it shows that it's not like they tighten up defensively when they play at home. So just a good matchup everywhere. Good line, good keeper, good matchup. I like it. I like Nick Pope to go higher than 2.5 saves. The next player prop that I found that I like, this one's on both Underdog and PrizePicks, and that's Kylian Mbappe to go higher than 4.5 shots, playing at home for Real Madrid, going up against Arsenal. First of all, he needs to shoot. Madrid as a team in general need to shoot. They are down 3-0, and he actually took 3 shots in the first game from Madrid's total 9. So he took 33% of the shots in general that Madrid took. Now they will shoot more, and now they're at home. And Arsenal in this game are more likely to sit back since they already have that big lead. As long as they don't lose by 3, they go on to the next round. He will take long shots. One of the 3 shots that he took in the first game was a long shot, so we all know he is willing to take them. And he did get a red card in the last game that they played. He started against Alaves in the league 38 minutes in, and because he got that red card, hey, he got rest. He didn't play the full game. He got subbed out early, so he will be pretty good and will be rested. And he goes from 3.6 shots away, 3.6 shots, 2.9 to 5.2 and 4.8 at home in the league and Champions League. So he averages around 2 to 3 more shots when he plays at home compared to away, which is good for us. And he will play full minutes in this game unless he gets injured. Fingers crossed, he will play the full game. They need to attack, and he is their best attacker in my opinion. Besides, he can hit him off the fast break. Even if Arsenal try to press up more and try to get that fourth, Kylian Mbappe is a counter-attack threat, so they cannot just leave him there. Besides, he is a big game player. He thrives on these big games. He's not afraid to play in these big games, and he will need to shoot. He can just play at a different level at any time, and whether it's him getting the passes, even then, he can create his own chances easily. So he needs to shoot at the end of the day, and just because it's Arsenal, I still think he can take these shots. He took 3 in the first game away when they only took 9. Now that they'll shoot more, and Arsenal more likely to allow more shots, I'll take him here. I like Kylian Mbappe to go higher than 4.5 shots. The next player prop that I found that I like, this one is on PrizePicks, and that's Harry Kane to go higher than 22.5 passes away from home for Bayern going up against Inter. He's gone over in the last 3 straight, including the first game against Inter with 34 passes. Inter took an early lead in that game and gave up more possession, despite being a team that likes to hold possession. And Bayern is a team that play possession of the ball too. And Harry Kane likes to drop more like a false 9. It helps build up the attack as well. And then after he makes that pass, goes up into the box. And with the Inter lead, with Bayern going into this game with Inter Milan already leading, that just more likely means that Inter will give up more possession and Bayern will hold more possession, which is exactly what happened in the first game, and he went over in that first game with 34. We just need at least 23. And if you look at the games he's played, when he plays these big teams in these big games, obviously he went over in the last game I mentioned against Dortmund with 28. He went over with 25 against Stuttgart, or with 25 against Celtic, over with 29 against Leipzig. He played PSG, went over with 28. He went over with 32 against Benfica. And even against Barcelona, another team that holds possession, he went over with 28. It shows that in these big games, when they need to create chances, especially when they're down, he drops back and helps end the attack. And Inter Milan are not an aggressive team. And I mentioned that because he drops back, it's not going to mean that they're going to press him and just foul him. They're not an aggressive team. They have fouled the third least in the Serie A, in the Italian league, and in the Champions League. They have averaged the 8th least out of 36 teams in the Champions League. So I just think this is a good line to take. I would take this up to around 24, 25.5. And as Harry Kane to go higher than 22.5 passes. And then the last player prop that I found that I like, my last one, this one is on PrizePicks, and that's Leroy Sane to a higher than 2 shots, playing away from home for Bayern, going up against Inter. It's Harry Kane's teammate. Somebody on this team needs to shoot, and out of all the lines that they have so far, I like Leroy Sane the best. He got stubbed out against Dortmund, which means he has more rest than somebody like Olise and Harry Kane, who in that game against Dortmund both played the full 90. And Olise, in my opinion, is much more likely to get subbed out compared to Harry Kane. He had 2 in the first game, and he averaged 3.6 shots per 90 in the league and 4.12 in the Champions League. His per 90 stats are a little more skewed in the Champions League because he's played 12 games with only 5 of those being starts. But in those games that he has started, plus 1 more in which he's played at least 1 half, he's had 2+ shots in 5 out of 6 Champions League games. So when he plays those minutes, he will take those shots, and he's a long shot taker. In both the Bundesliga and the Champions League, he's taken 54 from inside the box and 27 from outside the box. And he's a quick player. He's a good dribbler. And he's another player that can create his own chances, not from just himself, but also getting passes as well. And Inter as a team tend to allow long shots to opponents. And they're going to drop back defensively probably a little more because they won that first game. And they also tend to drop their defense. They tend to be a little lackluster on defense when they do take a lead. They played Bayern in that game, took the lead, and then Bayern ended up scoring in that game. And then the game that they played against Cagliari, they gave them a goal after being up. Same thing happened with Parma. Same thing happened with Udinese, who are all worst attacks. And those are all games from the last 4 out of 5 games. So in general, when they take a lead, they do tend to drop back a little too much and give opponents too many shots. And with Leroy Sane's line at 2.0, I like it here. So like Leroy Sane to go higher than 2 shots. Before I get into the money line plays, as always, I would really appreciate it if everybody liked the video, commented as well. It's a good way to support the channel. It helps boost the video out to more people, and whether it's just showing your support, asking questions, anything, I try to read all the comments and answer them to the best of my abilities. I really thank anybody who does that. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Turn on notifications when you're notified when these videos are out. And for those that don't know, I also have my Discord linked in the description. It is completely free, not a premium if you want to join that. You're also notified when the videos are out to the public there. And it's a good way to just talk during the games, talk about your plays, talk about other plays. Just a good community I'm trying to build. So you're more than welcome to join in the description. And if you want to get the videos out even earlier than what you usually would, because some of these lines do tend to get bumped and taken away after I post them, I do have the membership link in the description, or there should be a join button next to the subscribe button. Again, you get the videos out even earlier, and it's a good way to support the channel. And I have my links for everything else in the description, so I really want to thank anybody who supports me in any way. When it comes to the money line play, this would be day 2. Depends if you're following the ladder challenge or not. Obviously, we hit day 1, or if not, you just want to take it as your normal line, a normal play. It's up to you. But I found this slip, made this slip for plus 114. I played these slips on Oakland, and the first one is Arsenal corners to be 8-0 against Real Madrid. This essentially means that Madrid will not have more than 9 corners than Arsenal. I actually went through every single Arsenal game so far this season in all competitions. All 49 games, went through all the stats, and this prop has hit in all 49 games. This prop actually has a 100% hit rate, and it's because they've been a good defensive team. I underestimated them last game, so maybe this is my way of making up for it. But even without Gabriel and Calafiori in that first game, they still won 3-0 and had more corners than Madrid. 5 Arsenal corners to 3 of Madrid's. They also play possession, which is another reason why opponents don't get that many corners. And this prop has hit against good teams. Like I said, this prop has hit against every single team that they've played this season, whether it's Liverpool, Chelsea, PSV in the Champions League, Inter Milan in the Champions League, Manchester City, and even in the Prem when they've played just away from home. I haven't even counted their home games where this is even better. But in the Prem, when they've played away, they have actually taken 5.56 corners compared to 3.56 to opponents. So even when they've played away in the Prem, they actually have more corners than opponents. And just because they're down, I just do not see them giving Madrid 9 more corners. Madrid might not even have 9 corners in the game in general. And with Arsenal also having a good chance of getting a couple, I just don't see Madrid having 9 more. So I like Arsenal corners 8-0 going up against Real Madrid. And then the second play that I found that I like to make this into a plus money slip, this one is in the Prem game, and that's Newcastle to score first against Crystal Palace. In general, they're just a better team overall, which is why I like it as well. And this prop hit in the first game, despite Newcastle playing horribly in that game. This prop still hit in that game, and Newcastle is coming off a dominant home win against Man U, while Palace is a complete opposite collapse. Lost a 2-0 lead away from home against Manchester City, and now Newcastle is still at home, and Palace is still away from home. So that's good for us. They're a top 5 home attack and a top 5 home defense. They have scored 30 and 15 and conceded 19 and 15. And there's a good chance in general that this game has a goal in the first half. So if you want to take like a lean, but this play will obviously be much more juice, you could take at least 1 goal to happen in this game in the first half. But at home, Newcastle has scored 15 goals and only conceded 7 in the first, up to 15 goals still in the second half, but they have conceded 12. While Palace, on the other hand, have scored 8 and conceded 6 in the first, up to scoring 14 in the first. In the second and conceding 11. So in general, Palace, the reason why I say this is because Newcastle is much more likely to score, while Palace is less likely to score. Just not counting defensive wise, Newcastle is much more likely to score. And besides, Newcastle is fighting to keep a Champions League spot, while Palace don't really have much to play for. It's a very, very long shot that Palace can even get like a top 5, top 6 spot. So Newcastle has much more to play for. They're trying to keep that Champions League spot. Besides, their next game after this game against Palace is away to Aston Villa, who just got eliminated from the Champions League against PSG and will play hard to try to get a Champions League spot now that they have nothing else to play for. So in general, I just think circumstance-wise, form-wise, and in general, I just trust Newcastle more. So I like this play. They have a fully healthy attack anyways, and that's Newcastle to score first, going up against Palace, and it's a slip that I like for plus 114. Thank you everybody for watching. Quickly going over the last video's picks. Obviously, I'm wearing the robe for a reason. We swept the plays. We went 3-0. We did have Pedri the MP, but I did have an added plane that was Morgan Rogers to take at least 2 shots. He hit, and an Adeyemi to take at least 1 shot. And that hit really, really easily. He had like 3, 4, 5 shots. I know he just went way over this line. So that prop hit. And then money line wise, obviously, I mentioned earlier in the money line play that hit. We had Aston Villa to score, which they ended up scoring 3 goals. So that was pretty easy as well. And then Dortmund to get at least 4 shots on target. That hit within like the first 20 minutes. So overall, it was a pretty sweat-free day. We had a great day, and I mentioned in the last video that I tend to do 1, good on Champions League days, and 2, even when I have a bad day, we will always bounce back. Bad days are bound to happen. Good days like this will happen. So thank you for everybody who knows that bad days happen and we will come back. You guys trust me, and I really do appreciate you guys' trust. I have these plays as well, so hopefully these all hit. And like I mentioned, if I do have any added plays, they will be in the pinned comment. But other than that, I hope everybody has a good night, a good day, and we can cash out tomorrow.